you know? Reese's Pieces were originally going to be called PBs. However, after it turned out that the Mars Candy Company already trademarked that name, the candy was rebranded to Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces weren't added to the Reese's lineup until 1978, 50 years after the invention of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Despite having a relatively successful launch, the Pieces' sales numbers steadily dropped the following years. The candy could have potentially been discontinued if it weren't for Hershey receiving a fateful call from Universal Studios in October of 1981. During the production of Steven Spielberg's E.T. the Extraterrestrial, E.T. was originally supposed to be baited with M&Ms, an aspect that still exists in the movie's novelization. However, the Mars company ended up refusing Universal's offer to feature their candy in the movie. While trying to come up with another candy to use in its place, one of Universal's vice presidents at the time asked his son which snack he would use. His son replied, Reese's Pieces, which the vice president had never even heard of before. Striking a deal wasn't so easy, though. In return for featuring Reese's Pieces in E.T., Universal wanted Hershey to support the movie with around $1 million in marketing support. In exchange, Hershey would gain the exclusive rights to use E.T. in their own candy advertisements. This was an especially risky gamble as Spielberg's last movie, 1941, bombed at the box office. Moreover, Hershey wasn't allowed to read the film's script or even see a picture of what E.T. would look like while they were making the deal. Vice President of New Business Development Jack Dowd was treading new waters in the company too, as Hershey had never partnered with a Hollywood production before. Nonetheless, Dowd took the bet, much to the bewilderment of his peers. The deal ended up paying off as Reese's Pieces sales tripled less than 2 weeks after E.T.'s premiere, effectively saving the candy and securing its popularity to this day. Dowd told People magazine, "We were very lucky to get the opportunity. We were smart enough to take advantage of it and professional enough to do it right." Reese's history goes much further back than this, all the way to 1928. The company and its peanut butter cups are named after their creator, Harry Burnett Reese, better known as H.B. Reese. Peanut butter cups were far from his first foray in the candy business, however. Reese's first attempt at making candy was in 1919 after the Hershey dairy farm he managed was shut down. Under his new P&R Candy Company, Reese sold finely made chocolates covered in almonds and raisins. Despite his best efforts and press from local papers, his venture soon failed and Reese returned to work for Hershey 2 years later. Tight on money and struggling to support his family of some 16 children, Reese vowed, if Hershey can sell a trainload of chocolate every day, I can at least make a living making candy. After saving up enough money to afford the ingredients, Reese began making candy once more, but this time out of his basement. His early inventions included the Lizzie Bar, a chocolate-covered caramel coconut candy bar named after his oldest daughter, and the Johnny Bar, named after one of his sons and made with molasses. These early creations helped earn Reese enough success to quit his job at Hershey, and by 1926, his new H.B. Reese Candy Company moved into a newly constructed factory. Reese's real breakthrough wouldn't come until 1927. Upon delivering some of his candies to a shop in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the shop's owner asked Reese if he could make a chocolate-covered peanut butter candy after the store's previous supplier couldn't keep up with the demand. Reese knew an opportunity when he saw one and immediately purchased 50 pounds of peanut butter and began experimenting. By the following year, in 1928, Reese began selling what would become his most famous creation, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. At first, the company sold their peanut butter cups in assortments alongside their other candies, but in 1933, one of Reese's salesmen, known as Mr. Houston, pressed him to sell the cups by themselves. Reese wasn't too sure, though, as even though many customers considered them a favorite, the cups were actually his least favorite of the bunch. Reese eventually gave in and sold them individually at a penny a cup. They soon became known as penny cups and started selling enough to pay off all his debts built up over the Great Depression by 1935. Despite technically being competitors, founder of the Hershey Chocolate Company, Milton Hershey, continually supported Reese throughout his career. H.B. Reese's grandson, Andrew Reese, wrote, Hershey was sympathetic toward the young family man and wanted to encourage him. He took a liking to H.B., possibly because he saw how hard the man worked and that he was persistent in his efforts to do his best. In fact, Milton was known to keep a stash of Reese's peanut butter cups in his desk, even once offering a box to a Fortune magazine reporter interviewing him saying, "Take these delicious treats home for your wife and family." In return, Reese used Hershey's chocolate to coat all of his candies throughout the company's existence. He outright touted this on the packaging and marketing materials of his products. Early Reese's peanut butter cup packages proclaimed being made in Hershey, Pennsylvania, stating "Made in Chocolate Town, so they must be good." Milton repeatedly came to Reese's aid in his times of need as well. At one point during the worst of the Great Depression, Reese didn't have enough money to pay for Hershey's chocolate to make his candies. He tried to ask the Hershey Company to supply him on credit, but was promptly turned down. Upon learning this, Milton Hershey himself went out of his way to supply Reese with the chocolate he needed on faith alone, even throwing in a supply of sugar free of charge. In 1941, the US government's strict rationing in the face of World War II threatened Reese's business. During this time, Milton Hershey convinced Reese to discontinue every single one of his other candies and solely focus on selling the peanut butter cups. This decision not only saved the company, but also helped it flourish, as by the early 1950s, Reese's peanut butter cup sales grew to $10 million. This made HB Reese's Candy Company one of the largest candy companies of its time. Fitting enough, 70 years after Reese passed away, his 6 surviving sons sold off the HB Reese Candy Company to none other than their father's longtime business partner, the Hershey Chocolate Company, in 1963 for $23.3 million. It didn't take long for Hershey's purchase to pay off either, as by 1969, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups beat every other Hershey product line and became the company's best-selling candy. Today, the Reese's brand has become the #1 candy brand of America and 4th globally, reporting sales figures as high as $2.6 billion yearly. In fact, it's estimated that enough Reese's Cups are made in a single year to feed a cup to every single person in the US, Europe, Australia, Africa, India, Japan, and China. There even exists a holiday celebrating Reese's popularity known as I Love Reese's Day, held on May 18th. Did you know that McDonald's used to purposely space their chairs apart so that people would talk less and eat faster? Or that McDonald's was once in a fast food arms race known as the Burger Wars? For more facts, check out the Did You Know Food video on McDonald's. Or if you have even better tastes, you can check out my channel, PeanutButterGamer. Get it? That's why I'm doing the voice for this one. Check out one of my favorite videos that I've done, Super Mario 3D World, where I make a bunch of weird things happen to Mario and friends. And more importantly, don't forget to subscribe to Did You Know Foods and like this video.